Good afternoon, family. It's 12:03. I'm going to go ahead and get started with this lesson for the day. This is Hunger and Thirst for Righteousness, Lesson 14, The Power of Faith. The power of faith, the power of faith, the power of faith. And so this is really a really great lesson because faith is such a small seed. It's something so small in this world. We don't understand the power that is in faith. There's so many things in the world that we give power to as human beings, and we try to act like we're so powerful, but they're really powerless. We think that medication has so much power, but it's really power. It doesn't actually heal anything. It just masks stuff up. We think that money has so much power, but yet it comes and goes and it dies. And so faith, there is so much power in faith. And so today we're going to go to this lesson, and we're actually going to be with, we're in a part of Samuel when we have David here, and he's about to face Goliath. Let's talk about it. So I'm going to start off here today. 2 Timothy 1:7 says, "For God has not given us a spirit of timidity, but of power and love and discipline." And so along with that spirit of timidity, if you're talking truthfully and revealing the truth of what he's saying, he's talking about a spirit of fear. It's fear that makes us timid in this life. It's fear that makes us walk on eggshells. It's fear. But he didn't give us that. He did not give us that spirit, but take that to heart. That he did not give you the spirit of timidity. So understand that longing to fear and that longing to be timid in your life and be so careful and be so scared in your life, that didn't come from God. That's not a God-given spirit. And so if it's not a God-given spirit, understand it's a dark spirit. It's a dark spirit. And so let's understand first and foremost that he did not give us a spirit of fear and timidity, but of power and love and discipline. He gave us a spirit of power and love and discipline. And so I really love this because this is going to lead us off into this conversation, just how timidity is not from God. Fear is not from God, but but a spirit of power and love and discipline. And discipline. And you understand this too. How can you can't have a spirit of power and have a spirit of timidity at the same time. If I have a spirit of power, I'm breaking down barriers. I'm not being timid, walking around them. I have power. To be timid is to believe that you're weak. God didn't make us weak. He made us strong. And so let's go ahead and get into this. We're going to keep it moving real quick, and we're going to read through this story with David. I'm going to wrap it up by talking about some things of us conquering with faith in our lives, and then we'll be done for the day. Done for the day. 1 Samuel 17:2-3, it says, "Saul and the men of Israel were gathered and camped in the valley of Elah and drew up in the battle array to encounter the Philistines. The Philistines stood on the mountain on one side, while Israel stood on the mountain on the other side, with a valley between them." So here we have this standoff between the Israelites and the Philistines, right? "Then a champion came out from the armies of the Philistines named Goliath from Gath, whose height was 6 cubits in a span. He had a bronze helmet on his head, and he was clothed with scale armor, which weighed 5,000 shekels of bronze. He also had bronze greaves on his legs and a bronze javelin slung between his shoulders. The shaft of his spear was like a weaver's beam." I apologize if I lost you here. Sometimes my video, my phone clicks out of it for some reason, but here we go. And so basically he's talking about how big Goliath is. So they're looking at him by the eye, by the fleshly eye. And they're looking at him, they're like, look how big he is. Look how strong he is. Look at the things of the world that he has. It's like this big armor on this man. Like, who could possibly defeat this man? But it's by the eye, it's by fleshly evaluation that they see how strong this man is. And so understand, like I said, the issue with these Israelites is that, like he says, is that we look not at things that are seen, but which things that are unseen. For things that are seen will soon be no more. What's unseen will soon be seen. That's what Paul wrote in Corinthians. And it literally says that we walk by faith and not by sight. But the issue with the Israelites in this point, they were not walking by faith whatsoever in their lives at all. If you really read this Bible, all it talks about is how disobedient the Israelites were. Because they weren't walking in faith. They were just simply walking in fear everywhere they went. Everything they did. And so, just understand from this situation what we're talking about, just how big Goliath was. And by the fleshly eye, you look at him and this looks like an impossible task, an impossible person to be defeated in their lives. So let's keep going. 1 Samuel 17:8-9 said, he stood and shouted to the ranks of Israel and said to them, why do you come out to draw up in battle array? Am I not the Philistine and you servants of Saul? Choose a man for yourselves and let him come down to me. If he is able to fight with me and kill me, then we will become your servants. But if I prevail against him and kill him, then you should become our servants and serve us. Again, the Philistine said, I defy the ranks of Israel this day. Give me a man that we may fight together. When Saul and all Israel heard these words of the Philistine, they were dismayed and greatly afraid. And so, like I just said, the Israelites were moving in fear so much in their lives. They were not walking in faith whatsoever. That's why literally the Lord calls them disobedient so much, calls them hard-headed, tells them that they were adulteresses, which is really adulteress means to give yourself to other gods than God. He called them harlots, like they give themselves to every other spiritual concept, every other spirit but the Spirit of God. And so, but that's who they were. And it's very upfront right here. They were dismayed and greatly afraid. But I want you to think about how foolish it was for them to be afraid of what they were encountering in their lives. They just got done. Not just got done, but they had been delivered from Egypt, where they saw the Lord literally send plagues on Egypt. They saw fire come down from the sky. They saw pillars of clouds come down from the sky. They saw the sea split right down the middle. And you're fearing something you can see in this world? But that's how little their faith was, actually. That's how little their faith was. That's how little their faith was. That they're dismayed and greatly afraid by what they see, like a God that they can't see did not prove to them that he is the almost powerful in all the land. But that's how disobedient, that's how faithless they really were. But we also have to understand that you cannot walk in faith and walk in fear at the same time. It's not possible. If you're looking at the reality of Adam and Eve, and I'm not just talking from opinion, I'm just talking from myself. I got a concrete word for you. And so you understand that, think about Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve, when they were walking in faith and they were walking and they were doing right by God, they were listening, right? They were listening and being obedient to him. And they were walking in faith that he had them. As soon as they decided to fall into sin and they be disobedient, what was one of the first spirits that came upon them? Did they not run from the Lord because they were afraid? They said they were afraid that they heard them walking in the garden and they were naked. They were afraid. Fear was not in Adam and Eve before they ate from that tree knowledge of good and bad, before they came into sin. Fear is a sinful mindset. It's not God. And it's not the mindset that God has for you. And so we're going to go down this story a little bit in the chapter. I implore you to go back and read the whole thing for yourself. But we're going to go down the chapter a little bit. As you know, if we do this Kingdom Schools, I don't read the whole chapter. I'm just giving you the things we need to talk about as we talk. 1 Samuel 17:23-24 says, as he was talking with them, behold, the champion, the Philistine from Gath, named Goliath, was coming from the army of the Philistines, and he spoke these same words, and David heard them. When all the men of Israel saw the man, they fled from him and were greatly afraid. So, what's going on right now is that, so understand that David wasn't with them in battle originally. He wasn't with them. So what happened was that he was with his father, and his brothers went out to battle. They followed Saul into battle, but he stayed behind and he tended the sheep, and he was with his father. His father sent them out to go and check on his brothers and go and bring them food and check on them and do good for them, right? Now, and this actually is so interesting because this story is actually kind of a mirror reflection of what happened with Joseph also. But we'll get into this. But I mean, the outcome of the story is a little bit different, but his relationship with his brothers is kind of the same as what happened with Joseph. But he comes out there and he's talking with them, like it just says, and he says, then Goliath comes out. He speaks the same words day after day after day. And they said for 40 days he did this. And he asked them to send out somebody to fight him. And if he won, they would be serving the Philistines, and if he lost, then the Philistines would serve the Israelites. Now, when he came out and says again, once again, the men of Israel saw the man. They saw the man with their eyes. So they're fearing what they see, which is so much of our issues in this world. We fear what we see, what we hear, what we touch, what we taste. We fear these things. We shouldn't fear them, but naturally we do, which is why we need God to get rid of fear. But they see him and they become afraid and they fled from him, which reminds me of this. It says the wicked run away when no one is chasing them, but the godly are as bold as lions. That is literally what you're about to see in this situation. We're seeing the wickedness of the Israelites. That without their faith, with no faith, first of all, without faith, you are wicked. So their faithlessness is showing their wickedness, is they're running for no reason. And what's crazy is that this Philistine, this Goliath has given them no reason to run from him, to fear at this moment. Like, yes, he wants to fight somebody, but he's been doing the same thing. He has not charged after them. He has not tried to ambush them. He's done nothing to them. They're just scared. But that's oftentimes how we are in our lives. Is that there's something has done nothing actually to you. Nothing has actually happened to you. Yet you're fearing and you're running away from a situation that you haven't even tried to put in God's hands to conquer and be good with, and that you're going to come out good. Well, it's the same thing with this Philistine Goliath, is that they see him. They see him. He's done nothing. He's just standing there. He's just talking. He hasn't done nothing. But they're fearing him. Why? Why? So then David spoke to the men who were standing by him, saying, "What will be done for the man who kills the Philistine and takes away the reproach from Israel? For who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should taunt the armies of the living God?" The people answered him in accord with this word, saying, "Thus it will be done for the man who kills him." Now Eliab, his oldest brother, heard when he spoke to the men, and Eliab's anger burned against David. And he said, "Why have you come down? And with whom have you left those few sheep in the wilderness? I know your insolence and the wickedness of your heart, for you have come down in order to see the battle." Now, he is trying to say that David has wickedness in his heart, is they've been acting wickedly, running away from this Goliath the whole time. As a face reflects in water, so one heart reflects another. He's saying David's wicked when really it's him that was wicked. But David said, "What have I done now?" Was it not just a question? Then he turned away from him to another and said the same thing, and the people answered the same thing as before. And so, literally, and this is why I said it's kind of a mirror reflection of what happened with Joseph and his brothers. Because Joseph came, if you know the story, Joseph was sent by his father to go check on his brothers. He was sent there to do good. But when he went, his brothers had this negative perception of him and who he was. It didn't have nothing to do with David or Joseph. But it's the same story once again. Your own brothers. Because you have courage, you have faith, and God's anointed you and has your back. Your own brothers will be the ones to tear you down. They'll be your own brothers will be the ones trying to discourage you from moving forward and doing God's work and doing his glorious works in this world. Your own brothers. Once again, the same situation with David as with Joseph. Now, he goes and he keeps talking to the people. Now, let's keep going down this story. When the words which David spoke were heard, and they told them to Saul, and he sent for him, David said to Saul, "Let no man's heart fail on account of him. Your servant will go and fight with this Philistine." So David steps up and says, "Let no man's heart fail on account of him." So he's like, "Listen, don't distress yourselves. Don't walk in fear because of this man. Don't let your heart fail." And this is the thing. I like how he says fail. He doesn't say fall. He doesn't say grieve. He says fail. Because we have to understand that our hearts is either a success story or a fail story. At the end of the day, you're going to step before the Lord, and you are going to be judged. And He's going to look at your heart. And I got a secret for you real quick. It says in Revelations that it says no man that is a coward. No man that is a coward. He said cowards have a place in the lake of fire. A coward, which is someone who walks in fear in their life. And so David is saying, don't let your heart fail because of him. He's also outlining the reality of how he sees clearly that this is just a test in his life. It's just a test. And either our hearts are going to pass or they're going to fail. Either we pass by giving our hearts to faith or we fail by giving our hearts to fear. Which one is it? And so he says, don't let your heart fail. Don't let your heart fail on account of him. Your servant will go and fight with this Philistine. And then Saul said to David, you are not able to go against the Philistine to fight with him, for you are but a youth, while he has been a warrior from his youth. And so what does Saul do? First of all, it's already been pointed out that Saul is a man that walked in fear, period. And so what does he do? David says, no, I can do it. I can do it. He has faith that he can do it. He has the courage that he can do it. But what does the cowardly man Saul do? He says, no, you're too young. He says, no, he gives him all the evidence of why he can't do it. But he doesn't have any, because his sinful, fearful mindset, he doesn't see any way that he can do it. That's the same with people in this world. Because they're sinful and fearful mindsets. All they can give you is the why you can't do it. But they have no words for why you can do anything in your life. But that's something to break free from in your life. A mindset of fear and walking in fear and coming to walking in faith. Walking in faith, in which we know when you walk in faith, you can do all things. That's the truth. That's the truth. So then it says, but David said to Saul, your servant was tending his father's sheep when a lion or a bear came and took a lamb from the flock. I went out after him and attacked him and rescued it from his mouth. And when he rose up against me, I seized him by his beard and struck him and killed him. Your servant has killed both the lion and the bear. And this uncircumcised Philistine will be like one of them, since he has taunted the armies of the living God. This is the faith of David. And he's saying, listen, I done fought against lions and bears in my life, and I've been good. And I've been good. I've come through it over and over and over again. He said, this man ain't no different than one of them lions and bears. And he says he'll be like one of them. He gonna be one like one of those lions and bears, since he has taunted the armies of the living God. He said, this man, he's looking at Saul and saying, Saul, are you serious? This man has poised himself against the living God, and you don't think that God's gonna make you victorious over this man? He gonna be like one of them lions and bears that I done fought and died and I killed out in the field. Watch this. 1 Samuel 17:37. He said that David said, the Lord who delivered me from the paw of the lion and from the paw of the bear, he would deliver me from the hand of this Philistine. Faith. 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 He ain't even saying this. The things that he said, yeah, I was the one who was physically there and I fought the lion, I fought the bear. But guess what? The only reason why I succeeded because the Lord delivered me from those things. And he said, just the Lord delivered me then, he's going to deliver me now. That's faith. That's faith. And when you show that type of faith, people got to shut up. Saul said to David, go and may the Lord be with you. I got nothing to say to you, but may the Lord be with you. Amen. So then we're going to scroll down a little bit, six verses down. The Philistine said to David, am I a dog that you come to me with sticks? And the Philistine cursed David by his gods. The Philistine also said to David, come to me, and I will give your flesh to the birds of the sky and the beasts of the field. And so the Philistine is looking at David because he's like, hold on, like I got my brass breastplate on, I got I got my sword, and I got my spear, and I got my shield, I got my helmet, I got all this stuff on, all this brass and this heavy metal, and you gonna come to me with a stick? Am I a dog? But I'm trying to tell you the truth. This is how people will come to you when you come to that fight with the word of God. Huh. You're gonna come with something what they think is puny. You think that's all you need to win this battle? I'm going to give you an example. It's like this. It's some people in the world, let's talk about this, because this is the honest and true battle for myself in my life that I had to conquer with God. Is that you look at things like anxiety or depression, and you say, they say, yeah, you need a pill, and then you're gonna need you might need some therapy, and then you might need to get in the oxygen chamber, and then you might need to sit in a dark room for months. And they said that you might need to be on 5 different medications. You're going to need all that to defeat this battle. That's what the world tells you. But the Lord told me, he said, no, all you need is my word. This little stick. And even deeper than that, he said, you know what you mean? You know what he told me? He said, you know what you're missing? What's going to help you defeat this giant of anxiety in your life? He told me love. And everybody in the world will look at me and say, he said he can defeat anxiety with love? That little puny stick? A little pebbles? You think you're going to defeat anxiety with that? And I watched God work as I put my faith in him. And he defeated it. Just like that. But you have to understand that God is a God that sends you into battle with just a little stick and some pebbles. Just a little stick and some pebbles. He ain't going to give you all the big flashy stuff that the world thinks it needs to conquer battles. He ain't going to give you that. He said, no, all you need is my word. But do you have enough faith to enter that arena with just his word? When everybody else using everything else, they're using pills and they're using pills and they're using their might, and they're using alcohol, they may be using weed, they may be using therapy, they may be using I don't even know, all types of things of this world to win these battles. But he tells you, no, I just want you to go in this battle with my word. Are you going to be willing to go? Do you have faith to do that? David did. It says, and David said to the Philistine, you come to me with a sword and a spear and a javelin, but I come to you in the name of the Lord of hosts, and the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have taunted. This day the Lord will deliver you up into my hands, and I will strike you down and remove your hand from you. And I will give you the dead bodies of the army of the Philistine this day to the birds of the sky and the wild beasts of the earth, that all the earth may know that there is a God in Israel, and that all this assembly may know the Lord does not deliver by sword or by spear, for the battle is the Lord's, and he will give you into our hands. And so once again, this is the thing about faith, and the thing about when you gain courage through the Lord on what you're doing right now. The thing about faith, and when you gather courage through the Lord, is you understand that even when he tells you and you have the faith to go out to the battle, it ain't I got the faith to go out to the battle, then I get there and I say, oh, I'm going to do this. No, you got to keep your faithful testimony that it's the Lord that's going to do this for me. He's looking Goliath in the eyes and saying, listen, somebody you can't see is going to win this battle. And it's not me. It's the Lord. It's the Lord. And that's something you have to come understand what real faith is in your life. It ain't faith in yourself. It's faith in the Lord. Faith in yourself ain't going to get you nowhere either. Shoot. Goliath had faith in himself. What'd that get him? Killed by a pebble and his head cut off. No, it's faith in the Lord that gets you somewhere in conquering battles in this life. It's faith in the Lord. And this is what David's talking about. He said, you got all these things. You got a sword, you got a spear, you got a javelin. And I look at some people sometimes, you say, oh, you got money, you got a car, you got a house, you got all these things beside you. But I'm going to tell you this. You may even have the experience. You've been doing this for 30 years. But ain't none of that stuff nothing compared to who I got behind my back. That may it be the Lord who is on my side. And that's why I'm going to win this battle. Some of y'all got to start talking to your battles like that. Your battles of depression, anxiety, or stress, or I don't even know, maybe it's lust, or maybe it's jealousy, or maybe it's pride. Whatever it is, maybe you start talking to it like you got some courage. Start talking to you like you got the living God behind your back. Then you see how easy of a battle it actually is. I'm going to keep it moving real quick. And David put his hand into his bag and took from it a stone and slung it and struck the Philistine on his forehead. And the stone sank into his forehead so that he fell on his face to the ground. Thus David prevailed over the Philistine with the sling and a stone, and he struck the Philistine and killed him. And there was no sword in David's hand. There was no sword in David's hand. He didn't need a sword. He didn't need all the things of the world that people think make you mighty. No, he had a stone and some little pebbles. For me, I looked at anxiety and I had one verse. I looked at anxiety and said, look at the birds of the air. That they neither sow nor reap, yet your heavenly Father feeds them. How much more worth are you than they? And I stopped worrying. With a little stone and some pebbles. Some of y'all look at these words of God and you say it's not enough. It is enough. What's not enough is your belief in your faith. Pick it up. It is enough. David didn't go into this battle with no plan B's. It is enough. Some of y'all come into your battles, whether, I don't care what, I'm using anxiety right now because that's personal for me. Some of y'all enter this battle arena with anxiety and you say, yeah, I'm going to try the word of God. You say try, and that's your problem. Is that you trying, but you're not believing. If you believe, there wouldn't be no plan B. There wouldn't be no other options. There wouldn't be nothing, even another choice to make in your life. That'd be it. Stop trying and believe. And I'm going to keep going. I'm going to wrap this up for us and some things that Christ said to us to keep us going here and just talk about some battles. This is a battle. This is a battle for us in Christ. It's a battle. It's a mighty battle. It's a mighty battle, but I'm here to encourage somebody today. It says, Matthew 5:8, blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. It says the pure in heart shall see God. So he says your heart got to be pure to see God. That's what he said. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Now, I don't know if you know this or not, but being pure in heart ain't what you decide it is. It's what God decided being pure in heart is. And if you really look at what he's saying, what it means to be pure in heart, that's not an easy battle. It ain't easy. I'm going to read you a couple things to put in perspective of how hard it is for real to have a pure heart. To the pure, all things are pure. But to those who are defiled and unbelieving, nothing is pure, but both their mind, their conscience are defiled. So sorry about that. My phone sometimes it clicks out on me when I'm spitting the truth. I don't know why it does that, but let's keep talking real quick. He's talking about with purity that your perception is directly in line with the purity of your heart. And so when you're perceiving things negatively and everything you see is something wrong with it, he's saying there's not something wrong with it. There's something wrong with you. That your heart is not pure. It's impure. It's dirty. He's saying that your perception, all things are pure to those who are pure. So the way everything I see is pure and when my heart is pure. But to those who are defiled and unbelieving, nothing is pure. Everything they look at looks dirty. There's something wrong with everything because their mind, their conscience are defiled. And he's also saying the purity of your heart is directly in line with your belief. To those who are defiled and unbelieving, nothing is pure. Because of their unbelief, nothing is pure. Now, this is deep. And I'm talking to you about this so you can come to understand this is a battle that the Lord is presenting us with. He said, blessed are those who are pure in heart, for they shall see God. And now we're coming to the reality of what it means to be pure in heart. And so I'm pretty sure anybody who's listening to this can see how hard it is to actually have a pure heart. To see everything purely, see the good in everything. I'm going to read you 2 more verses and we'll be done for the day. Because I still want to paint this picture about how hard it is to be pure in heart. He says, and he was saying, that which proceeds out of the man, that is what defiles the man. For from within, out of the heart of men, proceed the evil thoughts, fornications, thefts, murders, adulteries, deeds of coveting and wickedness, as well as deceit, sensuality, envy, slander, pride, and foolishness. All these evil things proceed from within and defile the man. And so look at this list real quick. Look at this list real quick. These are your Philistines that he's telling you that you got to go out and you got to go battle in order to see God. To have a pure heart, you got to get rid of these things in your heart. Now, we're talking about this once again, in case you came in here late. We are coming in here to talk about this. We're talking about this. I'm painting the picture of how hard of a battle it is to become pure in heart. How hard of a battle it is to become pure in heart. But what you have to understand is this. You can't do it. Just like David understood that without God, he couldn't do it. David didn't believe he could do it. He said the Lord was going to deliver me. You have to believe that the Lord is going to deliver you from all these things. This is a hefty list. Evil thoughts, fornications, thefts, murders, adulteries, deeds of coveting and wickedness, as well as deceit, sensuality, envy, slander, pride, and foolishness. That is a deep list. That when you look at it, it's very intimidating to look at this list and say, these are all the things that are wrong in my heart, Lord. This is the battle I have to go out and conquer to see you, Lord. But what you have to understand is that you can't do it. You can't do it. You can't do it. It is the Spirit who gives life. The flesh profits nothing. That's you, your flesh. You can't do it. The flesh profits nothing, which means there's no profit, means there's no... I'm so sorry. My app wants to kick me off of here so bad. I must be telling the truth right now. So, like I said, you understand that you can't do it. It's the Spirit who gives life. The flesh profits nothing. The very words I've spoken to you are spirit in our life. And so you understand the life that you're seeking, the ability to see God. The one that can do these things, the one that can defeat all these things, the one that can defeat the evil thoughts and fornication, thefts and murders and adulteries, deeds of coveting and wickedness, is deceit and sensuality, envy, slander, pride, and foolishness. It's not you that can defeat these things. It's the Spirit. And the Spirit is given through his word, through the words of Christ, more specifically. And so you have to understand that, listen, when you look at this list, you should see a Goliath of a battle in your life when you see this list. But you have to understand that you can't do it. But with God, he can do it. And so we have to understand the power of faith. And that faith is the only thing that can win these obstacles and these battles in our lives. And right now we're talking about in the spiritual sense, which really is what God is talking about. He's talking about in a spiritual sense, winning these battles, these internal battles in our lives. But only by his word. Only by his word. It says in his word that you have been made clean by the word I've spoken to you. The clean he's talking about is that he cleaned these things inside of you. But it's by his word. You can't take this stuff out of you. You can't kill it. You can't defeat it. But by your faith in his word, you can. Which is like a stick and a rock to a lot of people. But to us who know the power of God, it's salvation. And so, family, this is the Hunger and Thirst for Righteousness class. Lesson 14, the power of faith. I hope everybody's got something good from it. Everybody have a blessed day. I'll be back on here Sunday morning around 9 a.m. through our Sunday sermon. Everybody have a great day.